Welcome, everyone, to Six Figure Souls Doing Good and Making Money. This is the weekly podcast where I highlight entrepreneurs who have left the grind and designed a business in alignment with who they are. This is a very special season 9 where I'm interviewing my co-hosts, my co-authors of my third collaborative book project in the Ultimate Guide series. This one's called Leaving Your Legacy. I'm your host, Camille Miller. I'm an internationally known business strategist and life accelerator, founder of the Natural Life Business Partnership and the Soul Professional Society, a global business incubator for logically brained, soul-led micro-entrepreneurs in service. Today, I have with me, my guest is Kristi Sullivan. She is a human design expert, speaker, and 6, soon to be 7, Amazon best-selling author on human design. Welcome, Kristi. Thanks for coming to the show today.
Thanks for having me, and I'm so excited about the book.
Yeah, I am as well. You're in our first book, and you are joining us again for the third book. I just want to read your chapter. It's called The Freedom to Be Me, Unveiling Your Legacy Using Human Design. I love that, by the way. Thank you. And thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and I'm excited to talk with you today. Thanks for having me on the show.
You're welcome. So for our listeners who may not have heard of human design, I can't believe there's still people out there, but it is possible. Tell us about your work, a little bit about what human design is, and then we'll jump into some other questions.
Yeah, I am excited if people are new to human design that they haven't found it and they're hearing it here first. So for those who are brand new, human design is your energy blueprint based on your birth date. And I think of it like astrology. So when you run your astrology chart, you get these wonderful pieces of information. And when you run your human design chart, you can see things in your system, your inner energy system, I call it, and how your energy works, how the patterns are. And about 7 years ago, I discovered it. It was really profound because I really understood the chakra system. And when I saw your human design and the things that it showed in terms of my characteristics, my natural way of doing things, my energy patterns, it really resonated for me. And when I do readings for people, I could see that their human design helps them feel validated and seen. And for those who are familiar with their human design, if you're not using it on a daily basis, and this is what I talk about in the chapter, is that how it can tie to your life purpose, to how you're running your business, to your legacy.
Yeah. And I will attest that I had my human design read by you as well. And I think it really helped in my business because it made me understand who I am and how I deal with people.
Yeah, it's a great tool for learning who you are more at your core level, who you're not, or what I would say, who you're conditioned to be. And that often can be ways that are creating habits in our life that aren't really serving us, or that we are coming up against blocks or self-limiting beliefs, frustrations. Some of those tie to not just past traumas or maybe even things we've experienced and adopted as ways that we think is what's true, but your not self, what we call in human design, can also be the way that you're adopting how to do things because you think everybody else is doing it that way. So I must have to follow that same formula. But when you really learn to understand more about who you are, you have a unique way of doing things. You have a unique formula that can apply in business, in your relationships, in your overall lifestyle. And that can really help improve things and help you just feel more aligned to your true self.
I love that. Now, do you work with a very specific type of person, or do you work with everyone? Like, who do you think is your best client?
Typically, it's, I say busy businesswomen, but entrepreneurs, and I have had some men as well, but typically it's women. I think of like me, who a few years ago was just starting a business, or years ago, started my personal growth journey and wanted to really uncover things within me that could unlock my growth, my purpose in life. And rather than it being always something on the outside I was looking for, I really appreciated that human design helped confirm what's within me. Like what is really already things that help me be more of who I am in my business. So I tend to work with entrepreneurs who want to include that energy work, holistic view, I guess we could call it the woo in their business, because the energy behind it is going to impact the success of your business. And so I tend to work with people who are both in their own entrepreneurial journey and in a personal growth phase.
This conversation literally came up at my table last night with my kids who love astrology. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys should have your human design read. How does it dovetail with astrology? Because it's still like an energy blueprint, I think, in astrology as well.
The way I describe it is that astrology is like your path. If you're driving a car on the path of life, it may take you to different destinations and you'll have different phases in your life. You may experience things in your 30s differently than you do when you're turning 50. And when we look at like the astrology, I call it the astrology report, is like the weather report for the day or for the week. You typically get some guidance around what the weather might look like, even though, again, you're on that path. You can choose to prepare for that weather or take different turns. Human design, I consider it your car drive that you're driving on the path. So it's more of how is the energy operating as you drive along that path. And the way I see astrology playing into human design, again, like maybe astrology is the weather. Human design is, am I going to choose to wear a raincoat that I have? Or, hey, I don't have a raincoat. Who can I borrow it from? Like, it's also the way that you're energetically wired, and you may have to make choices to, like I said, maybe prepare for that weather differently than somebody who's already they've got a whole closet full of raincoats.
Gotcha. Great analogies, by the way. I love them. I would love to I want to jump into the book a little bit. I have not read your chapter yet. I have read a lot of your other chapters in your other books though. But what made you decide? I want to read your book chapter name again. It's called The Freedom to Be Me, Unveiling Your Legacy Using Human Design. And you've written in 5 other books or 6 other books?
6 other books.
6 other books, and this one's the 7th book. Okay, so what made you say yes to this book particularly? And what has your journey just been as, writing each one? Like, do your stories change as you grow?
Yeah, great question. I love the series that you've created. So the Ultimate Guide to Building Your Soul Aligned Business was the first book that I was in. I know you had a second. And I think that these books are so important if you are a soul professional looking to see how other soul professionals have really created a successful business. So I love to share the story. I think we've all gone through very similar struggles or mindset challenges, things that we can learn from one another. That's how I built my business, is by really like being part of, Natural Life Business Partnership and reading authors in your other books to learn, what I can do differently in my business and what resonates. So when I've written in the past, I tend to talk about that journey of the last few years since 2020 of creating my business and really that personal development journey. And I can say, like every entrepreneur, like I am different than maybe the first book that I was in. I see things differently. I've gained different wisdom and insights. And what I really want to share, though, is where I am now looking back. And so in this book, I talk about human design as a way to learn more about yourself so that as you're creating the business or whatever legacy you want to leave or purpose you might have in life, you can really find clues along the journey, which is what I think I've done. And I definitely think that I've definitely had growth experiences along the way. So I'm always interested when I'm like, okay, I'm going to write a chapter in this book. What's it going to look like? What stories come up? I kind of wait to see like what bubbles to the surface.
I love that. I love that. Do you still enjoy the whole writing experience?
I do. You know what I really love are these collaborative books. I really enjoy, people have said, are you going to write your own book? And I really enjoy being part of a group and to write one chapter that ties to this theme. I also think, writing one chapter is a little less daunting than the whole book. So that's one of the reasons I like it. And in my human design, collaborating with others is also an important part of my business. So I still like writing. I'm not a journaler. Like I don't journal every day. I don't write poems or long stories. So I really do like opportunities for writing because it helps me to like sit down and really process kind of some of the words that I speak into a written form.
I like that. Any aha moments or anything that came out in this particular writing?
Well, I just think it's always great to see who you bring together in these books. I always, again, one part of my human design is connecting with others, and I love to meet people and learn people about what they do. And in your books, there's always such a great mix of entrepreneurs as well as in the professional society. So I like that part of it. And maybe an aha when I was writing my book is what I came up with as the lesson and the tool that is in the book.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that a little bit or keep it at?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I realized is in my legacy, understanding human design was really a key piece of that. And I get a lot of people will say to me, well, it's confusing. How do I understand this better? And usually I do a reading with folks or I do classes and teach and workshops. But I decided to put together as part of this book a checklist of like, here are the top things you need to understand about your design that can help you in understanding, again, your life purpose or how you connect with people or your energy and how it operates, from point of being with communication or well-being. And so I have this human design checklist I developed, and that's part of the book when you read the chapter.
Ooh, that's good. I can't even wait to read it now. I haven't read people's chapters yet. Oh my gosh, I love that. Um, Anything else people really need to know about human design or you specifically?
Well, like you said, human design is definitely trending and there's a lot of people talking about it. It's kind of like yoga. You can go to various classes and get different experiences. Start with the basics is what I always say. I really love teaching that. I love teaching people, a couple of elements that really help them in their business or day-to-day life, whether it's learning you're a projector and you really need time throughout your day to rest. That can grow your business. Or if you're a generator, if you're saying yes to too many things and how to tap into more of your inner guidance. Yeah, me too. So I take it to the basics, and I think there's so many amazing things in human design. And again, in the checklist, I try to stick with the basics because learning about yourself is a journey. It's not just, you can't do it overnight or in 1 week. And to use human design as sort of an experimentation to see how do things work. If I start to lean more into this energy or take more breaks or say no to more things, how does that actually change what my life looks like, my business? And I think that experimenting is really important and to give yourself some of that time and space to do it instead of thinking there's one answer that will help everything. It's really an experiment.
Yeah. So I know that you read people's charts for them, and they can go get their charts and everything on your website, which we'll do right before we leave. Also, all of Kristi's information is in our show notes, in case you're driving. You can check it out later. I lost my train of thought. What was I going to ask?
We were talking about the checklist and how everything is so complex. And yeah, anything else that we could share about the chapter. See, when you have an open head in human design, sometimes things
I'm all
just
over
come
the
and
place.
go.
Yeah.
It is so normal. And I love that, we're just being real.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. So I know that you can read people's charts and they can get that information from you. But if someone wanted like long-term or longer-term coaching on their human design and how it shows up for them, like they can be confused about a situation, is that something that you can do and coach them through?
Yeah, absolutely. Human design and coaching is for a longer period is something that I do and offer with in a container called my Human Design Circle and membership. And there are people, I would say, like if you're looking for, especially like parenting using human design, there's different coaches out there for that. I want to put a plug because I think this comes out before September, but there's an annual human design conference that happens, and you can hear various speakers talk about human design in many ways. And again, coaching through the lens of human design, I think there's more people doing that, and definitely something that's worthwhile if you want a longer period of time to really integrate human design into your business, or even in using it in your business with clients.
Yeah, or just in life. I love the idea of parenting or leadership.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's, if you knew the design of the people around you, you'd know how to react to them and
Definitely.
how they're feeling life.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great idea. Kristi, if people wanted to learn more about you, what's the best way to get in contact with you or find out more?
My website that I'm sending folks to get their free chart is hdwithkristi.com. You can find my books on Amazon, and I'm also most active in my Facebook community, which is Kristi's Human Design and Self-Care Community. So I hope you'll go join that.
I love that. And thank you so much for being a part of this third book and for being on the podcast and sharing all of your information. I can't wait to read your chapter.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
I just want to remind everyone that Kristi's information is in our show notes, and she can be reached very easily. If you can't find her, you can always find us and we will get you in contact with her. But thank you, Kristi, for being on the show. And thank you everyone for joining me today. If you loved this interview, please share it with all of your friends and share it in your networks. Please also pick up the book. It'll be out in September of 2024. Again, it's the third one of our Ultimate Guide series, but you do not have to read the first two to understand how great this book is. You can read them in any order and you can pick any chapter at a time. So it's a great way to just pick up a great book. You can also join others by checking us out at soulprofessional.com. Just a reminder, a soul professional lives in a higher vibration, has an alternative approach to business, and is here to help repair the world. So if that's you, check us out at soulprofessional.com. Have a great weekend, Kristi, and everyone listening.